Just I have a plug this. I have a video coming out about him later on today.
Plug it, mate.
On a different Not channel, and I basically make the point at the beginning.
Make sure you're subscribing.
I'm conscious of just being like, yeah, it's a good thing because everything around the club feels so good at the minute. Like, I don't want to just be like, you know, oh well, yeah, Raya, yeah, of course he's a great player, get him in, because you have to try and think clearly. But after a few days thinking and after trying to, you know, sort of take it all in, I do think it's a good move because in the end, it's a simple question: does this make Arsenal better? Yes. Yeah. That's it. And like we can go on about, you know, well, you know, what about it? Does it block Ramsdale? It's like, well, either way, we either get a better goalkeeper in David Raya who comes in and is better for us. And you look at his like post-shot XG numbers, you look at his goals conceded numbers.
He's lit in so many of them metrics.
Mate, goalkeeping metrics are hard to read because they're so dependent on how the team plays. But in terms of like traditional, you know, he's so proactive off his line in terms of claiming crosses. You know, I looked at him for this content against Alisson and Ederson. He's got those numbers, mate. He has those numbers.
He's lit, and he's 27.
He just needs to be in a team that can you know, basically win more games and put less pressure on him as a goalkeeper. He's an unbelievable player. So either he comes in and he's better, or we see a really hyper-focused Ramsdale who outplays him. We win.
And then the best man wins, yeah.
Exactly. And I think this is part of this culture shift that I keep speaking about at Arsenal. We just have to accept, you know, we look at, Mikel comes out in May or whatever it was and says, you know, this market, we have to be ruthless. And we're all going, yes, great. And then, you know, we go.
He starts doing it and everyone go, oh my God.
Yeah, literally. We
not that ruthless.
He starts actually doing it to our favourite players. And then we're like, no, not that guy.
Not that guy, someone else, man.
But, you know, there was moments last season. Question I asked in this video: is Ramsdale the best player in the world?
No. So he can be improved upon.
It's that simple. And I think Raya is a very, very good player. I think Raya can come in and provide depth. Competition can probably start over Ramsdale. Let's see how that plays out. Let them fight it out. And I think also I understand it from every angle. From Arteta and the coaching staff, he makes us better. Tick. From Ramsdale's side, it's he comes in. He improves you, or you move on. Fine, no problem. And thirdly, from Raya's perspective, from Arteta can just say to him, look, at the moment, there's no big club doing a move for you. You know, the Bayern thing didn't quite work out. You know, Real Madrid has still got Courtois, Ter Stegen's still around.
Chelsea moved away. Spurs, I wouldn't put them in this conversation.
Somewhere else. They're not top 6 club anyway. But, you know, there's not, you know, Newcastle, you know, still got Nick Pope or whatever. But give it a couple of years. You're still 27. Give it a couple of years. All those guys and all those clubs that have got their established.
They might be like, right, especially the Spanish clubs because he plays for Spain.
Exactly. So I look at Courtois, who's like 32. I look at Ter Stegen, who's like 32, 33. Neuer's like 36. You know, there's going to be a bit of there's always churn, but there's going to be a bit of churn in the goalkeeping position in the next couple of years. And I think Arteta can say to him, look, I won't stand in your way. If you're not playing here and you can move on, it's also more attractive for those clubs as well. Because if you're buying from Arsenal, you go, well, he's played in the Champions League, he's played in the Premier League at the top level. I trust that. If you're buying from Brentford, there is a bit more of a, he's good.
With the greatest of respect to Brentford, because if you ever want to sell Ivan Toney, you know who to give a call.
Exactly. But yeah, so I really support the move. I don't just want to be like, it's good just because we're doing it, but I do think it's a really smart move, and Ramsdale just has to fight it out.
Now, I'm fully in agreement with you, because it means not that I can accuse Ramsdale or Benjamin White of ever resting on your laurels, but you're living the dream. Well, the Gary Nevilles of this world, they had a lot to say about you lot. You're playing your linchpins. Where Benjamin White's concerned, potentially a new deal. Ramsdale's got a new deal, pushing for England number 1. Obviously, you fit the system. You're a key player to Arteta, and I don't think there's complacency, but there's an element of complacency, especially when Ramsdale's made mistakes. Arteta's gone, do you know what? The summer I tried to sign you. I tried to sign David Raya. We've been proactive with the first 3 signings. Now we can be proactively reactive and see what situations the market throws up, in which you've got a player who's rejected 2 offers from Brentford for one reason or another. He's not gone to Bayern Munich for whatever reason. They're trying to get 40 million, which I don't believe. And it's a keeper we know, and a keeper Arteta likes, and a fellow countryman, and someone like Arteta that, wow, they're Spanish. They've been in England for a really good time. And the goalkeeping coaches know him. Now, I know The goalkeeping coach also knew Runnison, so it all depends where you're looking at that. But it makes sense, really, and I'm all for it because he's a reliable pair of hands. As you said, he could potentially take Ramsdale's spot and make the best man win. And like you kind of alluded to, again, I don't think Raya's an idiot. There has to be some conversations about somebody being the number 2. We probably will be in a situation where one of them will have to leave at some point. We've been here with Leno and Ramsdale. We had Leno and Czech. You mentioned Courtois. Courtois and Czech went down that route at Chelsea. So we'll have to decide. But ultimately, if it makes our team better, I'm all for it. I would say one thing that I think is a bit unfair to Ramsdale, for all his faults, there's been many times that man has saved our football club and he's done great stuff. And I also feel people, a bit like with Balogun and Eddie, people move like the shiny new toy is faultless. Like David Raya, I just said it myself. I believe his level of focus is 10 times Ramsdale's, but he's also done some silly stuff. I remember when Sterling was at City, he had a mare in a game over there. I think he had a mare against Newcastle, and there's clips from the playoffs when he was playing at a previous club where he's mistimed the judge of a free kick, the flight of the ball. He's judged it wrong, and he just looked stupid. So him and Ramsdale have that, but I'm all for it, man, because this might be an opportunity that isn't there, and especially if not, I want them to accept it. But if one of them are accepting to be number 2, I'm all for that, bro, because as you know, it's very difficult to find someone in that regards. And I don't know, I was thinking about it. Is this a thing where, we've seen this opportunity in the market and we're going to do it mainly because Matt Turner has said, you know what, I'm 29, Gaffer. I've given it my best shot. I can't eclipse Ramsdale, Nottingham Forest, wherever I need to go. And then we said, we need a backup goalie because we don't really have that. I guess we don't know. Final question for you. Do you make it a Community Shield then, man? It's here. Like, it's here. City. They ain't had the best of pre-seasons, even though it's City. Where are you at?
If we win it, it's a trophy. If we don't,
it's the English Super Cup if we win it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, I actually was talking about this the other day. I don't like putting pressure on games, but I actually think this is a really important game.
Man, you got to put pressure on this. How can there not be pressure? It's Wembley.
Yeah, no, but I think like previous Community Shields, I've just been like, well...
True. I'm tired of getting smacked against City as well, bro. So there's pressure.
Where we beat Liverpool, was it like 2021? Just after 2021, I think it
was. COVID era one.
That one, yeah. Like, it's just like, so what? They just won the league. We won the FA Cup, and then it doesn't mean anything. So I don't really care about that. But I think this one has a real symbolic meaning because of the team we're facing. I think psychologically, if we can go in there, take advantage of, as you mentioned, their shaky preseason, the fact they haven't replaced Mahrez, they haven't replaced key leaders in their team in terms of Gundogan, Bernardo Silva. There's always question marks about him, but there's lots of things. Okay, Gvardiol's coming in now, but I think they're light up front. If we can go in there, dominate the game, or just put in a good performance, even if we don't win, we have a first half at the Emirates type performance, and we go right. No, we can get at these guys, because I think ahead to next season, I don't know how you feel. I believe at home, we are the favourites against 18 teams.
I can't disagree. I agree.
And away from home, I believe we are the favourites against 16 teams. And I would say the 3 are Old Trafford, Anfield, and the Etihad. You could argue Stamford Bridge, but I don't.
We don't need to worry about St Mary's anymore.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well,
to be fair, Brighton is a difficult one.
Well, Brighton's a little, yeah, but in terms of the bookies' favourites.
Yeah. The traditional top 4, top 6 title contenders, whatever have you. You're right.
And 2 of those games, 2 of the 4 games that we're not favourites in, is against these guys. So we just have to go out there and get any psychological edge we can. If we went out there, mate, and we smacked them 6-0. Right, and it's not going to happen. But if we went out there and smacked them 6-0,
talk into existence, you never know, man.
Can you imagine? And by the way, I'm on a flight as well, annoyingly, so I can't watch it. But can you imagine the psychological difference? Just going into the next game. When do we play them in? Like October or whatever. The team talk before it, the belief that you can go and do it. We lost to them both times last season. Just
3 times if you include the FA Cup, which ironically for me was our best game.
3 times, yeah. Well, yeah, 3 times. When's the last time we beat them? The FA Cup 2020.
Probably that. Last time we beat them in the league, we had Coquelin and Santi Cazorla. Cazorla is ironically still playing, but it tells you everything.
So psychologically, I think for the players, you can then go as